All right, what's happening, everybody? Another whiteboard day. So I wanted to go ahead and do a whiteboard on the early days of the internet, analogous to where we are currently today in the digital asset space, and compare that with Jay Clayton and his statements. Jay Clayton, the chairman from the SEC, and his statements with Congress in the committee hearing that he was just in yesterday. So let's just take a look at this and see where we're at. So in the early days of the internet, you had different sign-on companies that you could sign on. We'll put as an example AOL, right? And then there came out Netscape, right? And then there was Net Zero, and there was more. There was more than just this. And basically, if you wanted to be on the internet, you had your little dial-up connection, right? And it called in, and you picked which one you were going to be on, and that was your internet. And you could put around all inside of this and see whatever you wanted to inside of that little siloed island. That was your internet. But if you wanted to be on Netscape, you had to join that too. And then that cost money, right? And there was no really unified measure of all of it being brought together, right? And same thing here. Until they brought along what? TCP IP, right? And that was one of the layers of coding that helped them be able to bring on top of that the applications like HTTP, which we currently have now. This is what we know as our consumer-facing side of the internet as we know it. Right? Okay. So now, and actually, you know what? I'll even to represent this, it actually encompassed all of this, right? And now we have the internet that we have. That's a better way to do it. And now all of this is now the internet, right? Now it's all one thing. Now let's talk about where we're at with the digital currency and the digital space. So right now we have different exchanges, right? Different exchanges. And we also have private network, and I'll just put PN for private network or tokens or coins, right? So we'll put boxes for private networks, right? It could also mean coins or digital assets, right? Doesn't matter, right? And more exchanges, more private networks or coins, right? And this could be many different coins. It could be Bitcoin, right? I'll represent it this way too. Bitcoin. It could be Bitcoin Cash, right? It could be EOS, right? All these different things that exist out here, and many, many other more than 3,000 coins in the space, okay? What we need is something that can join all of these things together the way the internet did. Now, it won't be, I don't believe, HTTP. What I believe it'll be is the ILP, the Interledger Protocol. The Interledger Protocol, right? And I also believe the XRP ledger. Between these two things, I think you get the whole network tied in on one bedrock of protocols and layers that allows you to have all of these existing things touching this bedrock in order to track every single thing that happens on the new digital layer of the Internet of Value. You could also look at this. Let's take a look at this too. you could also look at this the way we heard Congressman Hill in the hearing a week or two ago, the way he talked about the traditional payment rails that already exist, right? Whether it's ACH, right? Or whether it's the Fed, right? Or whether it's DTCC and many, many other. We could even put a thing here and say private network payment rails, right? All of these are payment rails, let's say. Then what he talked about is what we also heard talked about in the conversation with Jay Clayton in the hearing as well, is a new rail that would allow for digitization. Right? Which I personally believe is going to be the ILP. And I also believe the XRP ledger. And all of these payment rails will be able to touch and connect and be able to tap into this digitization with their APIs, right? All across the board here, right? So that way they're all set up with their systems, and whether it could, look, it could be private banks, it could be private businesses, right? But they all get their APIs and their software set up to be able to tap into this one main bedrock payment rail that brings the consistency, the transparency, the protection for consumer and business protection. And this, at the end of the day, brings a uniform, centralized, what's funny is, it brings a centralized bedrock to all of this. And that's what's missing. And it's funny because Jay Clayton talks about basically saying to the congressman he's speaking to, it's happening. It's already here, right? It's already here. And it is already here. I really believe him that he's telling the truth. It is already here. So what's interesting to me is I believe that we're going to have to look out for some different organizations that we haven't heard from in a while, which obviously the SEC is one, FinCEN, right? FINRA, right? The Fed, right? U.S. Treasury Department. Who else we got in the mix here? Let's see, make sure we get every, oh, how could we forget? CFTC, right? And then the CEA, which is Commodities Enforcement Act. Keep a lookout for any adjustments in that. And then what else have we got? Because we got some other organizations out there too. I might be forgetting one or two. I'm trying not to. So let's see. SEC, FinCEN, FINRA, Fed, U.S. Treasury Department. Oh, and FSOC, which I'll put here. FSOC is the Financial Stability Oversight Council, right? So we want to keep an eye on them as well. What's funny is because the XRP is XRP ledger is a decentralized, open, permissionless protocol. It's a bit of an oxymoron, actually, because I believe ultimately between the ILP and the XRP ledger, that open protocol, that permissionless open protocol that's decentralized, will be used to centralize the entire payment industry, as well as the Internet of Value, giving us the Internet of Value. And what's funny about that is that you have the Internet of Value, which is really going to become, and even the crypto digital asset space, it needs to be centralized with a bedrock or layer that they can use. But in order to centralize the industry and bring some uniformity to it, organization, clarity, traceability, consumer protection, identity protection, right? Theft issues, fraud, illicit activity. To solve all these problems, they actually have to have something that all of the different networks can touch and be tracked and traced on. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for today. I just wanted to make this whiteboard and show the early days of the internet, how it's analogous to where we are and actually what we're moving into, I believe now. Hearing Jay Clayton reinforce that in the hearings, as well as many other things that we've all been listening to over the last several weeks or so. So this is an exciting time. I do believe we're crossing a threshold where we truly are moving to a place of implementation after adoption. Implementation of the regulations and the protocol that it's going to be used, which means now that it's been adopted, we get that wave of regulations. One more thing. What do we need to make all of this happen? We need a real definition on what cryptocurrencies and virtual currencies are. That will provide us with the ability to have a set of classifications for digital assets. From those classifications, I believe XRP and the ledger itself, the ILP, all those things will find their way into a special place, which will allow us to be the bedrock for the new Internet of Value. All right, guys. Hit the like button, leave a comment below, and I'll catch you on the next one.